Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Intelligence Racing League, the Sprint Championship of Division 1, the 6th round of it around Singapore, or as my co-commentator today, Mike would say, let's just say poo, for the censoring of it. How are we doing today, Mike?
I'm doing great, mate. Looking forward to a fantastic race around this very tricky circuit, and as you can see, conditions not optimal around here.
Well, yeah, of course. Any pad player will be absolutely shaking their pad all around right now, trying to get any kind of traction they can out of that throttle button. As you see, full wet conditions. I don't think it can be described as anything else except for I think everyone's a little bit screwed because
I mean, terrifying comes to mind.
Yeah, I'd say that through the final sector. And through, I'm just looking at Matty now, coming through what used to be the Singapore Sling. Oh my god, it must be terrifying through this whole section. You're going at about 20 miles an hour, it seems like, in comparison to the dries that usually...
Back end snapped a little bit then on the entry into the hairpin.
It's going to be just a learning curve for these drivers. I don't think many have done wet practice around this track. It's like we come to monsoon weather in Singapore, obviously in Asia. Around the equator, you always see this. It's either going to be super hot, super humid, or super wet. And looks like on this Saturday we've got the super wet conditions, as we're still waiting for the drivers to get round and start their laps. Then, as I believe it's 23 corners of circuit. I think I'm correct in saying that, but a technical circuit nonetheless. As Matty's just trying to get used to it as we start the flying lap. Mike, I'll give you the reins of this qualifying lap then with Matty as he loses it through the final corner.
Okay, so he is on the run down into turn 1. He will have lost a little bit of time by losing the back end, but he's going to try and stay off the curbs in turn 1. But you can see there, back end stepping out through turns 2, and that has compromised him in turn 3. Now he is on the run down to this very tricky right-hander. You want to take a bit of curb, but you can just see there, these conditions, they're telling you to stay away from the curbs. But this is usually the DRS, straight no DRS, of course, being in wet conditions, and you can just see he's losing it everywhere. He is absolutely struggling out there, under braking, trying to get a turn.
He's the wall.
He's out.
Our first calamity of the day then. Oh, that is not what Matty would have wanted, as now the barrier is being absolutely swung out into the middle of the track. Oh dear, that could bring some havoc. Oh god, I just saw a Red Bull go past. I thought it hit the barrier there.
TTG toxic.
Oh my, looks like everyone's struggling. As McCrew's also retired from the session, out of the final corner. So McCrew has lost it just starting his lap as well then. Seems like these conditions are really not favouring the drivers today then. But
well, interestingly, there's a split at the moment between wets and inders.
Yeah, I've just put up the tyre compounds, and yeah, seems like we just need to have a look and see what's quicker at the moment. Seems like potentially the intermediates could be a little bit faster than the wets, considering more people are on them. And it seems like, but to be fair, McCrew's lost it on the inters, Matty's lost it on the wet. We must be at maybe the turning point really, as I'm looking at definitely someone to do with the wet, DRS aquaplaning or aquaplaning or whatever you want to call it, coming through that middle sector just underneath the Anderson Bridge, and he's looking like he's not really liking the conditions either, as it seems like he may have hit a few puddles on his laps as well. Then we're getting more yellows as people, I believe, are just slowing down and getting ready for laps.
And here we go now, Toxic around the final corner to the line. Oh, he's gone off track, but he does get kind of lucky there. He crossed the line off the track. I think if he rejoined, he might have gotten invalidated.
Yeah, good lap from Toxic. First lap of the day then. Seems like laps will be coming in quite fast now as people are starting to finish their lap. Lewis is retired from the session also. Where is he? How's he lost that?
I think he's just retired in the pits.
Why has he done that?
Lewis does have the opportunity to become the D1 champion here today. I'm just going to pull up the pull up the standings and just see.
Oh, Justice has lost it out of T1. Bit too much speed on those wets. And yeah, that's round. So is Lewis just trying to maybe be a little too confident, let's just say, and try and do a loss to potentially like a podium position? Oh, Lewis has a quali ban. Lewis has a quali ban. There's your answer.
That's why. Well, he does have a 21-point lead to second place, just as. So as long as Lewis outscores him by 5 points, he's got it wrapped up.
Oh wow! How far is Toxic in behind? Is Toxic still in the fight?
Toxic is down in 5th, 34 points behind Lewis.
So there's still a chance for the likes of Toxic, the person on pole at the moment, to have a good shot at winning if Lewis, say, has a bad round here today. Obviously, around Singapore, one mistake and you're out, as you can see so far. Oh, has he
really
lost it again?
Struggling on those wets.
Yeah, it seems like intermediates are the preferred tyre right now, with around about 2/3 of the drivers selecting them already. Yeah, it seems like everyone really, except for Mike and NLR Mike, excuse me, and Just As are out on the inters instead of the wets then. As yep, that's also someone said last time. I believe that was Patrick losing it out of turn 3. Everyone losing the car at the moment as he resets himself to track. Ghosts at the moment on a 55.0. Seems like Toxic's actually putting a very decent lap with his first lap, then a 54.1. No one can get anywhere near that at the moment. With Just As being 3.5 seconds behind. Bjorn on a lap, Hardy on a lap. Looks like Hardy's coming to the end of a lap potentially. No, I think he's lost his front wing. He seems very slow.
I just seen a massive lock up there from Mike into turn 1, and that's going to be a thing as well. The assist that these guys use. Lockups are going to be so easy to do in these conditions, and well, medium traction versus no traction in the wet. I mean, there's no competition really, is it?
I think Hardy's just lost it in the pit lane. he's lost it before the line, as now there's yellow from sector 3 as well. I don't know if we'll be able to pick that up from Chris. No, not Chris, sorry. Pick that up from Gary. No, we can't see, but I think he's lost it on pit entry as Hardy. So Hardy without a lap time as well then. Seems like quite a few people starting on the back of grid with Lewis without lap times, and it seems like at the moment Hypez is on an out lap just behind Dylan. Dylan seems to be flying through actually, and then we'll run on board with him, see if he's got a lap time. No, he's not. He's on 100% EOS then. Someone who is on a lap though is Mike on the wet. This will be interesting.
Got a bit of traffic ahead with Janetsky. Oh, so he just can't get the traction done on those tyres.
Yeah, the wet's just not really helping, as Jav in the comments saying that the dry setups probably won't help the drivers out here today. Potentially Toxic has done dry and wet kind of in the middle setup, you know, to just get the best qualifying time possible. As it seems like Mike really struggling on those tyres. He hits the wall there coming into the final sector. Doesn't seem like the wets are the optimal tyre at this point in time.
I think he's on a different Codemasters game. It looks like he's on dirt right now.
It seems like it, doesn't it? He's just trying to control that car back to the pits. He's really trying to just negotiate that car back into the pits, and is fighting the car just even in the pit lane. Hit out the board, and my goodness, yeah, I think we can kind of conclude that probably the wets aren't the perfect tyre right now.
I'm going to go on board with Janetsky, who is in a bit of a fight right now with Toxic, and believe Mike as well in our fight for 3rd in the championship, and they still, all 3 of them, still have an outside chance of closing in that gap to Lewis to take it to the final round. But I mean, if Lewis gets the win here, it's all over.
It'd be very surprising if he can go, 31 laps and make up, 19 or however many positions. He's like 17 positions at the moment with the amount of people that retired. Just think about this. Only 9 people with 7 minutes to go have set laps. That shows how technical Singapore is and how the wet really isn't helping out these drivers. Janetsky being one of the drivers not set a lap time yet. We need to have a look at what lap time he will set here today then, as he comes now in very high gears, obviously for that traction in that middle sector. He now heads towards this final sector at 15.3 through those first 2 seconds. Pardon?
Purple middle sector.
Oh, look at that. So good lap time from Janetsky so far. Have a look if... Oh, it looks like that was... Who was that who just had lap time? Hypers going P5.
Yeah, Hypers.
So now it's time for Janetsky to go set us up. We've got more yellows in sector 3. It looks like someone else has lost it. Potentially, no. Yeah, that's a McLaren. I think that's aquaplaning actually. He's just lost it at the final corner. As now, coming through the final corner is Janetsky. Apparently a purple middle sector. He goes P4 with a... what lap time was that? That was a 1 minute 54.6. Good lap there from the Ferrari driver to get himself P4.
Yeah, and this is where we're going to get to the nitty gritty of qualifying now, because these guys are going to have to take a lot more risks to eke as much time out around this track as possible. And in the wet around here, high risk, high reward. Sometimes the risk is always greater than the reward.
It just depends how well you know the circuit. I assume some people must absolutely hate this circuit, like seems like you do, Mike. But then others, I assume, Toxic, much more of a fan of this circuit, as his lap time really showing. Obviously, only the top 6 within a second of Toxic's lap time. So you can definitely see who the ones who like this track. Unlike aquaplaning, as I just ran on board with him, and he spun it out of turn 7, then losing it once again. Let's look at that Toxic. Look at that. So does that mean that conditions on track are improving, or is that just a showcase? It's just that improved. Look at this. All the times are now bombing up.
Yeah, I think the conditions are improving more favourably for the Inters, so we could be seeing a few quicker lap times coming in very quickly.
Yeah, it seems like it. So who else is on a lap? Ghost is on a lap. Daniel is on a lap. Then he's 2 tenths up in his lap. Maybe potentially get him up into that third position. Second row of the grid on the left-hand side. I believe it's the left-hand side P1 is. I'm not too sure now I said that. But anyway, down towards the tunnel then. Seems like a good lap so far from Daniel. Pretty clean, keeping it in the high gears for the traction then. He's keeping it high, make sure there's not enough torque in the car to really spin it. And now through the final 2 corners then, 22 and 23, up to line, it seems clean. Will it be faster? Yes it is, P3 with a lap time only 3 tenths slower than Toxics with a 1 minute 54.1. Inters are now 0.2 quicker apparently than the wets now. So now everyone will be choosing the Inters over the wets then as the track conditions do improve.
Yeah, on board with XL Gary as he improves up into 5th with a 54.5, so he'll be happy with the improvement.
Question is, do we think that drivers will go out for 2 laps on this final run then, just to make sure they have enough time? So Bullet Boy still in the pits then, he's really risking it out here today then. Only probably going to do 1 lap, as it doesn't seem like any laps have really come into place for the Alpha driver. Then Julian just starting a lap. Mike coming through the middle sector as well, not set a lap yet. Aquaplaning still needs to make a name for himself up in P13 with a 58. That's not an amazing lap time to really show what the McLaren's got inside of him. Other people on laps.
He's really struggling.
Who's struggling?
Really struggling. Aquaplaning.
Yeah, it
5
seems
seconds
like
off pole at the moment. That's really... He's not loving this track in the wet.
Yeah, 58.9. That's not a lap time to really be showing Zach Brown, I can tell you that one. Meanwhile, Patrick coming through the final few corners at the moment, down in P11, got something to prove, around about 3 seconds off P1 at the moment, so he's really got to show what he can do here then. Up to line, 2.8 seconds off. Will that be an improvement? No, it will not. He's going to have to go once again, a 2 minute 3 lap time that time around, so he's going to have to go again and see what he's got. We've got more yellows in sector 3. Seems like people just slowing down and getting ready for their laps then. As
I think Mike has just set a little banker lap right there.
Yeah, Mike P10 then. Is Mike one of the people who are looking for potentially a podium today, would you say? As Toxic's retired, as he's done that in the pit lane. I believe.
Yeah, Mike is in a lovely spot in the championship right now. He's in the battle with Toxic and Janetsky for third place, and they're not too far off, just as, and they're still mathematically within a chance of catching up to Lewis. So they're in a good spot right now, championship-wise.
Yeah, very good as Chris retires as well. I think he's lost that. He's just done that in the pit lane, and it seems like Ghost actually is on a flyer at the moment. It seems quick. Coming up to the final two corners then. Looking really... Oh, he's lost out the final corner. And he goes up to P3 then. 3/10 off pole at the moment. Toxic really riding on. No one else improving. And the track conditions staying the same at the moment. Obviously not going out for that final lap time then. Julian going P7 as well. Then Aquaplaning really needs to get a lap together. So does Bullet Boy down in P18. That will not be something he wants. As P18 will not be an ideal place for the Alpha drive to start in. Holding it in gear 4 through turn number 5. And now other people on laps, and I assume quite everyone is just still on an out lap. He'll have time to finish that. Ghosts seems to be on another lap. Daniel on a lap still. Gary on a lap.
Oh, is Ghost absolutely sideways here through that left-hander.
Seems like
maybe it's snapping at the beginning.
Yeah, maybe pushing the car a little bit too much there. As still drivers are setting their laps. Next person up to line will be Mike, I do believe. Yes, it will. Mike stays P12 and is going to go for another lap. Then we've got Bjorn coming up to line as well. Bjorn stays in P9. Doesn't improve enough. We've got a racing point.
Third.
Yeah, that's Daniel up to third. And now I believe that would be just that's about to start his lap time then. And look at that, that's Patrick out as well. As he lost that on track or in the pits. Seems to be on track actually. 3 turns 6. He seems to have lost the car or something there. As
Bullet Boy's just invalidated his lap.
Oh no. So Bullet Boy will be starting down in P18. What a shame for him. So he's got no chance now. As look at that. We come to 0 seconds and now the lap times will be flying in. As now, yeah, look at that. Aquaplaning 5 seconds off. Not a good qualify from him. Then Dylan up to line then. Oh, and that's Bullet Boy round. Not happy in the slightest. Dylan stays 13th. Mike on a lap. Oh, that's Hypers up to P8 as well. We've got Janetsky not going to be able to finish his outlap then. So we'll stay at the highest P6. Then after that, we do have a hat. And that will be of XL Ryan.
As he's coming now through the underneath the bridge, one of the trickiest corners, even in the dry, I'd say. Very easy to outbrake yourself and just go straight on into the wall.
Anyway, now coming through the final few corners, and will this be an improvement for the XL driver? Maybe get up closer to his teammate Gary then, up to line, and he goes P8 then with only a second off the Toxic. Pretty good lap from him then. Mike still on a lap then. Mike needs to improve 7/10 up through that middle sector. He's lost it over the line but goes P8, beating out Ryan there for that 8th position as Daniel retires as well. We got Bjorn on a lap, 1.3 off. Doesn't seem like he's improving and will head into the pits then. Next person across the line, Gary.
Yeah, but I believe he's got Just As right behind him as well.
So these two very close on track, but the question is how close will they be after their laps then? Gary at the moment up to line, will go P5, but Just As in behind. He's up by 2/10, and I think he stays in P2. Must have been very close at the top there, unless it is a validated lap.
Second.
But there is your qualifying done then with, oh, look how close it is at the top. Wow. Around 23 corners. The only thing separates them is 100th of a second then. So Toxic on pole, second is Just As, and third is the Daniel. Second on the second row will be Ghost then. Then it's Gary and Janetsky on the third row. Fourth row of Julian and Mike. Fifth row of Ryan and Hypes. And then on the sixth row will be Patrick and Bjorn. 13th is Dylan. 14th just Chris F1. Aquaplaning saying the last lap time. And then all these people have not set lap times, including Bullet Boy and Lewis, who will be looking to make up a lot of places in this race. As we know, they do have some immense pace around the circuit.
Yeah, and for Lewis, he can't be happy with seeing his 2 championship rivals locking out the front row.
He just now needs to hope that with the dry conditions, he can get up. Maybe an undercut could be in order for Lewis here today, then, to maybe make up some positions on the mid-pack, try and close in on Toxic and also Just As. But one thing to really put into perspective is, around here, you're stuck in a train. Unless you've got super low wings, you are going to be stuck in the train the whole race, basically. As overtaking opportunities are very low, and let's just say the amount of mistakes drivers can make is very high. It's a risky circuit, and if you get it right, you're obviously going to be finishing quite high, but one mistake and you're going to be right down at the back of the grid. So
yeah, and possibilities for safety cars as well are pretty high around you.
Yeah, very true. Actually, obviously, we'll be really struggling to make it to the Division 2 race on time. You'll be practicing while we do the interviews. Make sure, hopefully, it's not a wet one. Otherwise, you'll be having an interesting race, and it'll be a very long one at least. Anyway, 31 laps around here. That's going to take at least 50 minutes. So grab yourself some popcorn and get ready for one of the races of the season, I'd hope, with some very fast guys coming through the pack. Matty, Lewis and Bullet Boy, 16th, 17th and 18th. They'll be trying to make some places up on the first lap. Then how will Aqua Planning do?
Very interesting. XL Ryan on the soft tyres.
Oh, hello. On the softs. I haven't looked at the tyres. Wow. So Ryan trying to make places up quickly on the first few laps. Then will be making a very early pit stop though. Excuse me. So question, obviously there's a lot of different strategies actually out here, so we'll probably run through them. So we've got obviously mediums to hards, most probably pitting about from lap 7 to 11, I believe. Just As going long, trying to hope that those hards are going to stick on, and then maybe potentially go onto the softs for the end of the race. It all depends how his car's feeling and obviously how the tyres are feeling after, what, 25 laps then. Daniel on the medium, same strategy as Toxic. All the top 6 except for Just Us on the same strategy. Julian and Mike in behind on the hards, maybe opting on a late safety car then, and then Ryan obviously on the softs compared to the hards. Those tyres are going to overheat quickly, but my goodness, when they when he gets off the grid, I assume he's going to be making up positions very quickly. Then Hypes in 10th on the mediums. Outside of the top 10, we've got Bjorn, Dylan, Bullet Boy and Hardy on the hards, everyone else on the mediums. Difference of strategy here today, Mike, isn't it?
My mind is baffled in Ryan's logic by here, because Ryan is known for these crazy tyre strategies. He done a soft and medium around Bahrain.
What? Hey?
He's done the soft and mediums.
How's he made that lot? I have no idea,
but I'm interested to see where he goes from here.
Wow, so this could be an interesting one. I assume it's a soft hard. I don't think mediums can really do about 30 laps around here. Looks like Hardy at the back of the grid then will be trying to get a better start. But obviously, I feel like the person we need to really look out for at the start of the race will be XL Ryan. Then obviously, we'll be hoping to make up some positions, potentially on some of the mediums runners as well as the hards in front, as now Hardy at the back of the grid lines up. And now we're on for Toxic and Just. That's the first row of the grid. Hopefully it is in a Singapore 2017 start. More of one that we see usually as we now go to 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Singapore. And it's lights out and away we go off the start. Who gets the better start of the top 2? It seems like Toxic by an absolute mile. People already exchanging positions down in towards turn 1. Then any contact, there's a bit of contact. People really squeeze each other out in the mid pack. Then we're going 2 wide, 3 wide through a few of the corners. A lot of touching in that midfield then. And it seems like quite a few people making up position. Lewis already up into P14. Gary past Julian. And at the moment up at the front. Then it seems like everyone has got away quite cleanly. You see some front wing damage at the back. Dylan, I believe, has lost a bit of front wing. Bullet Boy may be including that in that little havoc as well. As we come down towards turn number 7, it seems pretty clean at the moment.
And Julian side by side.
Oh wow,
that's very close.
dangerous corners could be going side by side with the still side by side. Surely there's contact. Oh, contact with the wall. A little bit there. I feel like, Hypes has lost his right end plate there with that little contact with the wall. And hopefully that doesn't give anyone else a puncture in behind then. As looks like Julian on the hards is really going to be starting to hold up a little bit of a train then. Just staying in P2. 1.5 seconds clear of Ghost.
Around the outside of his teammate at the hairpin, and that's a fantastic move for Lewis. He is making moves now.
He needs to make the moves on those tyres and riding on board with Lewis right now then. Will he be making any moves into the final sector? It's very just proceeding through one by one as the concertina effect will happen down into this tunnel section. Then everyone will close up, and now I could tell you about someone flying away. Toxic at the end of lap 1 is 2.6 seconds clear of Just Us on the hards. That is what you call a flying start from the Englishman. My goodness. As Lewis now makes up to
absolutely flying.
Seems like he's just making the benefit as look at that, we've got our first retirement, believe in the pit lane. Dylan retires after lap 1, and that shouldn't bring out a safety car, but I wouldn't expect us to see no safety cars during this race today, as now people very close. Ryan on those softs hasn't really made any ground yet. Seems like he's just holding him behind, just hoping that he can just catch out people who make a few mistakes and does the hash drive. And look at that, he's got so much more grip than Hypes ahead of him. Obviously Hypes got a bit of front wing damage as well then. Try and pull closer to the lad, and Bullet Boy picks up a penalty already on lap 2. Looks like loads of people trying to extend those track limits to gain some positions, but Bullet Boy not really working wonders right now with that 3-second time penalty around here. Could be very crucial if they're stuck in a train at the end of the race then. But at the moment, Toxic 3.5 seconds ahead, extending those track limits as much as possible, and it seems like Just Us is really going to be holding up the train then today. Choo-choo style around here as all the medium runners in behind try and get ahead. DRS will be
a lovely
enabled.
little battle going on right now between Matty and McCrew. Down towards the back, side by side in the final sector, and looks like McCrew's just got that done.
Yeah, nice one from the crew. Didn't really see that one on the stream then today, but I'm sure they'll have some more battles as the race does go on then, as it looks like Matty will want a bit back of what he's just given up, as they're held behind aquaplaning a little bit here, as now DRS is enabled, and we expect to see a lot of overtakes as Lewis picks up a time penalty already then in turn 1, so he needs to make sure he can get ahead by 3 seconds of the pack if he's going to try and get anywhere near the likes of Toxic. And now he's got the DRS on Patrick then. He's going to use his ERS as well. ERS number mode 4 is, look at that, Ghost is also passed. Just Us lost 2 positions actually. Around the outside, Daniel tries to go of Just Us, and it seemed to have paid off for the Racing Point driver. Very good move around the outside of turn 8.
Yeah, this is not good for Just Us. He really needs to try and get back ahead of these guys, and I think one thing that we didn't really notice about, maybe the reason why Toxic was able to pull such a gap, was the difference in compounds.
Yeah, it seems like at the moment. So Just Us, obviously, those tyres are going to be much slower, but they're going to be a longer duration then. And I think what Just Us is really hoping is that Toxic, when he pits, gets stuck behind maybe some of the hard runners down at the back of the grid then, and really has to push to get past them. Obviously, around here, overtaking is not of the essence then. It's more just behind one, behind another. And look at that, that's Bullet Boy out!
Bullet Boy.
And that is a VSC. So Bullet Boy lost that just at the end of the second straight then, and wow, that is interesting. As now VSC, will anyone decide to pit? Will Ryan head into the pits then? Ryan does not head into the pits. Now I thought that would have been the perfect opportunity for the hash drive to pit, but it seems like Gunfastana has some other ideas on the pit wall.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea for Ryan to try and convert this into a 2-stop, stay on the mediums. But as aquaplaning, 5-second penalty for collision with McCrew.
Yeah, it seems like those two are going into the pits then, going straight onto the hard tyres for the end of the race then. So aquaplaning and McCrew, seems like he's got that 5-second stop go, it seems, as he heads out of the pits now, behind Aquaplaning by quite a little bit, but we're still under VSC, so it seems to have worked for these two guys. And hopefully, as now DRS and Neighbour, what a perfect time to get out of the pits. They have served at the perfect time, and now potentially could get a little bit of a jump on everyone else. Aquaplaning really could really benefit from this, as the medium, as the hards will now go to the end of the race. I can tell you that for certain.
Yeah, I think the issue for McCrew now is that he really needs to start pumping in some faster laps to try and not only close up the Aquaplaning, but make sure he can get this undercut working.
Oh, contact between Chris and Bjorn. Their tyres are interlocked there as they come through the back straight then, as, oh my, I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see any of them having damage. I think they're still unscathed of damage, the pair of them. I don't know how they've done that with the amount of contact they had. They're still going side by side. That is not a clean move from Bjorn. He's just trying to force Chris out of it. And Chris is now down in P14. Matty trying to make it up the inside of the Renault as well. Doesn't seem to be working at the moment then. As now Matty comes through. Oh, look at that. He's really trying to... He's using all those curves there as he tries to find a way past Chris. Chris heads into the pits. Has he got front wing damage? He doesn't. So this is a planned pit stop from the Renault guys. An early stop. Trying to maybe get a little undercut as well. Like Aquaplaning and McCrew have done. I wonder where they come out in terms of Chris then, the two who pit under the VSC. As now Ryan really needs to get a movement on those softs, otherwise it won't be a pretty worked out strategy for him then. As,
I think he's missed the window.
Yeah, seems that as Janetsky now passed Justas, so seems like the mediums are really coming to their own.
Yeah, the issue for Ryan right now is, while Hypes does have that wing damage, he's able to stick with Julian in our DRS. And with Lewis right behind him, he's going to be coming under some serious pressures.
Another VSC. Where's Chris lost that? Chris lost that out of turn 3 then. So 5 laps in, we're already down to 17 drivers. My goodness, so already, no Burt Minelander yet, but already, we're only a sixth of the way into this Grand Prix, and already, look at that, 3 drivers out, and it doesn't seem that anyone is really benefiting from this. Obviously it's a VSC and everyone's in the middle sector, so no one will probably be heading into the pits then. Ryan would have really liked this only a bit ahead, but feel like no one's really going to benefit from this one, as Toxic now just so far ahead. 6 seconds is the gap now, Mike. This is commanding from the Red Bull driver.
Yeah, I mean, Toxic able to get away early, uses tyre advantage against Justas, and the battling that Ghost, Daniel, Janetsky and Justas have done behind him have given him a pretty healthy
he's lost it. He back end went absolutely crazy there. Maybe cold tyres. Toxic just lost it out of turn number 5 there. My goodness, that was close to hitting the wall. Red Bull really pushing, as we can see. 4.5 seconds the gap now, and I feel like Ghost maybe trying to hurry himself up here and maybe push Daniel along with them as they get closer to the back of Toxic, and hopefully make this a bit of a more of a three-way battle instead of one. But
speaking of someone trying to hurry someone up, we got Lewis all over the back of Ryan, literally pushing him through those last couple of corners.
Yeah, it seems like those softs are potentially out of their window now as we come through that middle sector once again. Seems like, yeah, now Lewis is now getting to this point where he's going to get held up by some cars around the same pace as him. What's happened there? Actually... What? I think he may have lost his...
an absolute goal.
Oh, he's left the session. Oh no.
This is massive.
Massive for the championship. Hopefully Lewis has got a backup invite. But my goodness, this could be massive if he doesn't get this sorted quickly. Seems like he must have had a wheel issue or something as he slowed down so much. Must have lost connection or something, as now seems like Lewis now, if he can get back in that car, will be very disadvantaged, as well, yeah, just wow.
He's going to drop behind Maddie, I think, as Ryan actually comes into the pits. Lewis has joined again.
Okay, so Lewis going to lose a bit of time, so not a lot though. so it's not too bad for him. He hasn't lost significant amount, probably only about 2-3 seconds. As yeah, look at that. So Mike and Patrick are passed as well. Then he drops down into P11 then. As yeah, Ryan coming out of the pits, medium. So is he going for a 2-stop, Mike? Surely he can't be on a 1-stop.
I'm going to say he's going for a 2-stop, but I wouldn't put it past Ryan to try and stretches.
Those tires go about 10-11 laps then. Don't think he can really go push him, what, 23. That'd be a real ask for the mediums. And as Ghost picks up a penalty through that middle sector
Lewis
then.
is back in his car now.
Okay, so Lewis now will be pushing to get himself back up to where he was then, behind Mike and Patrick. Mike actually having a very good start actually on those hards. He's been able to make up a few positions, and now behind the mediums runner Patrick then, able to maybe benefit from his DRS then and really push him along. I feel like Mike could be a real dark horse in this race by the end of the race if he can really push up. Don't put out Julian to maybe potentially get a podium as well. He's keeping on the back of Gary on those hards, and obviously Just Us as well. I think he's still got a good chance of winning, Mike, if he can make those mediums really pay at the end of the race, and potentially even the softs. Obviously around here, 23 corners, a lot of the corners that you can get so much more perfect on the softs than you can do on the hards, so much more grip. Surely you're going to be gaining about a second a lap on the hards, on the softs compared to the hards at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, just as Julian and Mike, maybe even Bjorn as well. Late into this race, they're going to be coming back through, and they're going to be coming at some pace. Yeah. So I'll be interested to see what happens later on. But right now, it's all about sticking with the cars ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Keeping in the DRS, just hoping. It's like Julian is really low on EOS and fuel there, right on the border. It seems like he's right on 0.0 at the moment with both his things at the moment. So it seems like he's just getting pushed along by Gary with the help of that DRS then, as he tries to stay within a second. And it now seems like potentially the hards are coming more into their window now than the mediums, and potentially this is time for the likes of Just Us to get back on Janetsky, potentially Julian to close up to Gary even without his EOS and DRS to play with then. Mike also on the back of Patrick, potentially could be the time for him to get past as well, but I believe this is probably the time where we may see the pit window open for these mediums. This will be interesting for the likes of McCrew then. McCrew and Ryan, obviously. I wonder where McCrew will really come out in all of this. Will he still be at the back of the pack? We just don't know yet. It'll be an interesting sight, as I wonder how Hardy does as well then. So obviously he's right at the back, but
Hardy, sorry, Ryan made his pit stop from, I believe it was P9, P10, around that.
Yeah, P9
region. So McCrew's only like 4 seconds off, so I think McCrew should like fit in around
Lewis,
where Bjorn and Lewis are.
Yeah, it seems like it could be a very. That brings our third safety car, third VSC of the session. Then, my goodness, we're getting spoiled here today, Mike, with VSCs, and hopefully, these drivers at the moment, I'm sure will be just saying, oh come on, let's just get some racing laps done. But it seems like at the moment they're just being held back, and just for their own safety.
For those on the hards.
He's really lost that his aquaplaning. As we now DRS enabled. Yeah, go.
Those on the hards are very glad there's only been VSC so far.
Oh yeah, exactly. Mediums would have already pit by now. Those on the hards, his aquaplaning's left the session now. As Jav says, what on earth did Toxic have for his breakfast? It seems like it, doesn't it? He's gained another 1.5. My goodness, it seems like it. As look at that, 6 seconds and further 1.5 since we last talked about him. He's really flying now, and I really I don't want to really jinx it, but he's got a very good chance now of really running away with this and potentially winning this race. 6 seconds. I don't even think Just Us can really keep up with that unless his stint at the end of the race on a softer compounder tyre. Oh, look at that. Here we go.
Pull the trigger, and Lewis is straight in as well. So Lewis looking to get that undercut.
Yeah, undercut can be pretty powerful around here. So this is where all the mind games start. Pit window open. Seems like now.
Oh. And Hype's got held by Lewis a bit.
Oh. So it looks like Lewis will be trying to get right up in Hype's DRS. And look at that. That is Ryan through by quite a margin then. So Ryan has got...
McCrew right behind them.
Yeah, so McCrew actually... Yeah, look at that. So McCrew actually may get past Lewis here. Obviously, cold tyres versus warm in the zone tyres. This could be interesting through turn 5. Look at this. Here we go then. This will be a little battle to really look out for. McCrew gets much better exit. He goes up to ERS mode 4 then. Lewis will be defending in that ERS mode as well then. But to the outside then. To the inside of 6, outside of 7. And look at that. McCrew is through with flying colours really. Look at that. Easy move for the Racing Point drivers. Now Lewis really gets up to the back of him through turn number 8 then. And now McCrew really needs to push on. And look at that. Oh, he's hit the wall there on the outside. Don't think he's got damage. I think he's been pretty lucky to not get damage there. But McCrew now needs to push on, get close up to the back of Hypes then to really benefit on his strategy.
This is the worst possible scenario for Lewis. Coming out behind a very quick driver like McCrew. That is just going to hold him up because McCrew is going to be good enough to defend against Lewis.
Yeah, as also talking about Lewis, Jav has just put in the chat. Lewis needs to finish P7 or P8 with a fast lap to win the championship. At the moment, I just can't see that happening. Obviously, behind McCrew, potentially could really help him with DRS and all that, but also could really hold him up. So if Lewis is going to win the championship today, he's got to really get past McCrew very soon. And
Jav, I think your maths is a little bit off here. I think for that to happen, if he finishes 7th for the fastest lap, he needs just as to retire from the race as well. I think that also needs to happen.
Yeah, that's also a very good point. Just as obviously still right in the battle. Don't forget about him. Obviously Toxic going to gain 25 points at the moment. As look at this now. Yep, Lewis up the inside of McCrew, and that is an easy move. And on those newer tyres, obviously he's going to have a bit more grip than McCrew. And now let the charge begin then. So Lewis now closing up to the back of Pipes then, and let the games begin as let the undercuts and everything begin as well as all the medium tyres. I believe all the medium runners will surely be coming in quite soon. Then does Toxic head into the pits then? He's on no EOS. Nope. Toxic staying out this lap at least. I thought this would be really the lap that everyone would come in lap 11. Yep, there you go. Daniel's in. Here we go then. Let everything begin then. Will anyone... Well, now Daniel's going to have a... Oh, no! That's not what the Racing Point would have wanted. 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That can either be served as a... in the pits or at the end of your race. It's allocated onto the end of your time. So Daniel now needs to make a gap and make this undercut work well. Gary in, but he's got a front wing change as well. That's going to really limit him. He's now going to get held badly from Matty. Matty's going to make
his drop behind Patrick. And they both stay through each other, and he had to drop the place to Patrick in the pit lane.
Of these lot, that is outstanding. So obviously he's going to have to stop this race, I do believe. He's got yellow 6-1. Looks like maybe Matty's lost out of the pit lane. Looks like it potentially, as I don't really see yellow 6-1 that much. Then he must have dropped out of the pit lane. But yeah, fair play to Ryan then. He's going to have to push on those mediums. But I feel like he's still won for good points here today. If he can push a lot, and obviously if these guys are stuck behind Hypes, he could be able to just maybe close up at the end of the race to the points paying positions on that 2-stop.
Yeah, and with Daniel, who was right there in that battle for a second with Ghost, Ryan could be a major thorn in Ghost's side when Ghost comes into the pits.
I assume that will be quite seamless. Look at that. That is the race leader in the pits then. Where will he come out? Will he come out behind some runners, or will it be clean air for him today? And look at that. That's Ghost responding as well. Then Just Us obviously goes on. So does Janetsky. top 3 really in. Julian, all the hard runners stay out. But the top 3 on the mediums do head in then. Mike stays out obviously on the hards, and now everyone except for Ryan is now on the hard compound tyre now. So Ryan hopefully will get a little bit of an advantage on those grippier, softer tyres then than everyone else. As now, yeah, our screens are now full with hard compound tyres, and that'll stay that way until about lap 20 to 23 then.
Here we go. Ryan just getting past Janetsky, and he's right behind Ghost.
Yeah, so this could be pivotal for Ghost to race then. He needs to keep Ryan in behind, because Ryan will have pace for now, but potentially later on in the stint could be a little bit of a moving chicane then. But at the moment, the Haas driver staying behind the Merc, and it seems like that's going to stay that way for now then, as they come through the middle sector now. And it seems like he's just going to keep on closing and put pressure on the Mercedes ahead, maybe force him into a mistake potentially. And Ghosts, actually, he's been overtaken, actually not even overtaken, absolutely undercut by Daniel.
I was going to bring up that Daniel has taken over a second out of Toxic in the undercut. But Toxic has clean air. Daniel's got Hardy to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. So Toxic at the moment will be at loving life, as the next person ahead of him is Bjorn, and that's 6 seconds. So 6 seconds can't be easy to close, as people saying hello to me in the chat. Yeah, so Toxic really able to push on those tyres then right at the start. It's all going well for the Red Bull today then. His teammate obviously out of the race, so he needs to carry the team home today. His shoulders must be getting a bit heavy now after Dylan down in P20. Toxic now just needs to push on. Gap's already closed by 6/10 in that final sector alone. So these tyres are really suiting the Red Bull driver there. Meanwhile in behind, Hardy doing a good job of defending from Daniel. 5/10 in it.
Yeah, Daniel needs to dispatch a Hardy right now on this DRS straight. He needs to pull that gap to Ghost.
It's a perfect time to. 8/10 is the gap right now, and this is the time. He's got 1 or 2 chances probably this lap to make it happen then, and he's going to go into turn 7. He's just not close enough this time around. It's Daniels now. Janetsky is past Ryan. Massive lock up. Oh, seems like the Ferrari is just going to stay in behind for now. Try and pull a bit too of a bold move there to try and close up to Ghost, but for now Ryan is just going to beat the little moving chicane in Janetsky's plan.
We didn't mention it, but Lewis has managed to get past Hypes now, so he's up into 11th.
There you go then. So Lewis on the verge of points, and with everyone pit, well, actually loads of people yet to pit, it could be a good result from the Williams driver then. So it seems like a lot of people could really be benefiting from a different strategy then, as it seems like right at the back of the field then, as Justus picks up a penalty up in P1. Seems like Gary and
Daniel is pushing Hardy for this final sector.
Let's have a look at Daniel then. On with you, Mike.
He is absolutely all over the back of that gearbox, and look how close Ghost is now. As Toxic sets the fastest lap, Daniel needs to get past right here. It looks like Hardy's just got a little bit too much straight line speed.
Yeah, maybe running a bit lower wings maybe potentially for that Haas driver. Oh, look at that, he's gone wide. Will that let Ghost through as well? Ghost going to go side by side with the Haas then. Will he give a little battle? He's going to give a battle. The XL driver still there, and Ghost is through. Probably the perfect thing Ghost would have wanted has just happened. Is Hardy going to bring a little battle back, or is he going to stay in behind? Down towards turn number 7. It seems like he's just going to stay in behind. That mistake has not only cost him 1, but 2 positions in this race then. And oh, he's gone a bit deep once again.
Daniel is going to be fuming with that, because he got held up for so long behind Hardy. As Hardy moves out of the way of his teammate.
Look how easy that is. But yeah, it seems like yeah, Daniel had what, a 2-second gap, and that's just gone. Just like that, as Hardy held up Daniel a treat there. Almost seems like there's a bit of inter-team orders going on there. Just let Ghost close on a little bit. Should I say what he's doing? He's just helping us have a little bit of more of an interesting commentary.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta appreciate it.
Yeah, we've got to appreciate it. Janetsky now. Hardy letting Janetsky through as well. It seems like Hardy is battle. And look at that. Just as Ghost got past, and we said it was a perfect race for Ghost, he heads into the face. And look at this. Justas heading in very early for the mediums. Front wing damage.
Oh, that's going to be unfortunate for the McLaren driver.
Question is, where's Lewis and all of this? Lewis at the back of this pack.
Corner, he's going to jump him.
Going to jump him by an absolute load then. Justas, as Toxic picks up a penalty, Justas will be behind potentially Patrick. No, he's going to be ahead of Patrick, but behind Hyde. Oh, he's lost out the pit lane. Oh no.
It's all gone wrong for Justas now, and he's dropped behind Gary and Matty.
Justas, when it all seems to be going right, it's just gone wrong at the worst moment for the McLaren driver. He's lost it out in the pit lane. Oh my, this is huge for the championship fight.
Yep, and Ryan and Janetsky side by side. I'm struggling to keep up right now. There's so much going on.
My goodness, and that Patrick and Gary and Matty all side by side as well. Gary trying to go around the outside of Patrick. They're still going for it to and fro. And my goodness, that is massive. Wow. Everything
Lewis,
just
around the outside of Hardy at the hairpin. Oh, unable to do it, but he is so close to that Haas.
And here we go then. Around the outside he goes now. He's going really bold on the brakes. He's getting very close to the wall on the outside. Is this a move for the Williams driver? Yes, it is. What a move off into P9.
That was incredibly brave from Lewis, because that corner, you do just understeer towards the wall there. So, very brave from Lewis to hang it around the outside there.
Yeah, bold on the brakes. It seems to have worked now. As you said in qualifying, risk to reward level. It seems like the risk was worth it for Lewis there. As now going to be closing in up on Janetsky, and that's P5. So Lewis really making a good run for himself here. And actually now it's P4, isn't it? Because certain McLaren has lost it into the wall.
Well, I think what's happening right now, Lewis is technically coming back to maybe go for the podium here, because when you think about it, Janetsky, Ryan, Ghost and Daniel are battling for second place, and there's not much between them.
Yeah, exactly. Lewis can really get in on this, but do remember...
Oh, it's here and almost losing the back end. I think his mediums are starting to go off.
Yeah, potentially. And now it's Lewis. We should be able to close up to the back of Janetsky and Ryan pretty quickly. But then it's one thing getting close, another thing passing. We can see his overtakes have worked so far in this race. But as we close up to the top guys, I feel like it may be a little bit harder. As now Toxic is closing up on the I wouldn't say back markers, I'd say more different track. Oh, Toxic, what was that? That's not a proud move to be doing. He's going to let Bjorn back through there. And oh, that is not a nice place to get him. He needs to get him out of the way quick. He needs to extend that gap. As now Julian is really the person he needs to really be mindful about, as Julian now pushing ahead.
I was thinking maybe a bit of Williams team order going on there between Bjorn and Lewis, but
who knows? Who knows at this point? As now Toxic has been freed by Bjorn heading into the pits.
Ghost is in.
Oh, hello.
Ghost is coming into the pits.
Surely it's front wing damage. Has he? What's happened there then? Oh no!
This has absolutely baffled the mind.
So he's had a front wing change. Oh, Gary's retired. Sector 3 into the pit lane. He's lost it into the pit lane. Another it's the fourth one. It's the fourth VSC this race then. We've got another. This will help Matty out. This will help Ghost out. And Ryan is really going to benefit from this. It's just all going in Ryan's favour today, it seems. But, oh my. This is just helping Lewis so much as Gary now retires. 15 drivers left. We've got 13 laps to go then. I don't know how it's going to happen. We've got half the drivers on medium, half the drivers on soft. The DRS is now enabled once again then.
And we're still waiting for Julian, Mike and Hardy to make their first and only pit stops.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been a perfect time for Julian to head into the pits. So that VSC lasts a little longer. What would be the worst thing for Julian right now? Not a safety car. Oh, yep. Julian heads into the pits at the end of lap 18 then. Enters the pits, and this is going to be interesting. So, everyone seems to be a bit more spread out. As I'm just looking at Ryan and Ghost. No, not Ryan and Ghost, sorry. Hardy and Hypes. Mike in the pits. As Mike goes on to mediums for the end of the race then. Julian also onto mediums. Toxic stays out, of course. As we've got more yellows at the back of the field. Just as Matty exchanging positions. Potentially Matty has damage on that car. I'm going to have to check. He does. He has left end plate damage then for Matty. Hardy into the pits as well.
Okay, Julian has come out in a nice position right now. P5 on fresh mediums.
This is going to be interesting. I think this could be a P2 job for him if he can get this right then. As McCrew picks up a penalty in P30, it's not really going to help him get any points today then. But Julian, I feel like this is going to be the talking point for the last 12 laps of the race then. Will Julian close up enough to get P2 then? I think P1 potentially could be, out the window now with Toxic. 10 seconds ahead. Worst case scenario for now for Toxic would be a safety car. And around here we've already seen 4 VSC, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a safety car as well on top of that.
And then bringing up the standings a sec, because Lewis in 4th, just as already done in 13th, Toxic in 1st. I gotta do some math by here to see if Lewis takes the championship.
Yeah, probably a good idea then. Lewis obviously could be gaining some positions as well then, but time penalties could really be put into this. I don't believe Janetsky has a penalty, but I know Lewis does have one at least. Julian, I feel like, could be the span in the works for Lewis's championship here today then, as he's really going to close up, and surely before long we'll be able to get the pass done on the Williams. Alpha versus Williams for the top 4. That's something I definitely wouldn't be saying in real life. Seems like Julian's doing a bit of a Giovinazzi in 2019 then. Obviously leading the race for a few laps, and now on those mediums, will he be able to close up to the back of Lewis? It's 1.2, he's gained 8 tenths in that final sector alone then. That just shows how much his tyres are working on that Alpha right now then. As everything just seems to be working well for any medium runner. So Mike actually probably has a good chance to get a podium. Let's be real.
I just done a bit of math. As long as Toxic wins
Ghost retires.
Wins this race.
In the pit lane.
Oh no.
In the pit lane. Go ahead.
Yeah, as long as Toxic wins this race, Lewis needs 2nd plus fastest lap to take the championship.
Oh, okay.
And right now, Toxic has the fastest lap.
So yeah, so it seems like all in Toxic's Toxic doesn't have fast lap, it's just that's actually the fast lap of the race. 38.4. Yeah, 38.4.
Oh, that must have been recent then.
Yeah, obviously on those new mediums. Just as. The only thing, he'll be wanting a safety car surely right now to get himself back into it. 50 seconds behind the leader. Toxic is 11 seconds ahead of Daniel alone. That is just sublime from him. As now he's going to be kind of holding on here as Daniel just trying to hold on to that P2. He's got one less person in the way of Ghosts. As look at this, just so many people who could have been fighting for the podium out of this race. Bullet Boy, Ghost, Gary, all those people out of the race, and now this gives a perfect chance for Janetsky to really put some points on his tally then. And Julian now to the inside of Lewis, down into turn 1. Is that going to be moved? Lewis is going to fight it. Lewis still there, and he's going to back out of that one. As now he remembers what tyres Julian's on, and now potentially this could help Lewis a lot here. If he can just stick to the back of the Alpha, then potentially he could be able to make his way through Janetsky as well. So could this be a blessing in disguise for the Alpha, for the Williams actually? As now he tries to go to the outside, tries to make the move on Julian, but it seems like he's just going to stick him behind and just give Julian a little bit of pressure that he probably doesn't need right now.
Yeah, and for Lewis, this is his golden opportunity to seal this championship here today. Stick to Julian, pressure him into a mistake, and hopefully pick up a couple of positions on Daniel and Janetsky.
Yeah, it seems like the only way he's going to be able to do that right now then. As it'll be very. I don't think he'll clinch it today because he doesn't have the fastest lap then. But so final round next week then could really. Is it final round next week? I believe it is.
Yeah, final round next week. For Lewis to win, mind, he has to not be outscored by Toxic by more than 9 points.
Well, yeah, so 9 points is the gap then.
So second.
Yeah.
If Toxic wins, he needs a second place to win the championship here for me.
Exactly, and at the moment I just can't see that happening with a certain Julian on the back of Janetsky now. Look how much is closed up. Lewis is already outside of DOS of Julian. So Lewis has not been able to benefit from that in the slightest then. He's just going to have to hope Janetsky...
Oh no, Lewis into the wall!
Oh, massive! That's damage as well! Oh,
now this is really just throwing the championship open.
Oh, as one thing happens, another thing happens. And my goodness, Lewis now, he's going to be absolutely hitting himself. Another VSC as Bjorn retires. Oh my, we're down to 13 for the starting grid of 20. 5 VSCs, Mike. My goodness.
This is really just throwing things up because Daniel, Janetsky, Toxic and Mike battling for third in that championship. Really going to close up on Just As and Lewis now. Yeah,
so Lewis, as DRS is enabled, he's lost a little bit less time. Now VSC's come out at the perfect time. As Verstappen just said, how to bottle championship tutorial made possible by Lewis. Seems like he's taken over from Toxic as the bottle roll today then. As Lewis at the moment not looking very good for a championship win here today then, as I think we may have just jinxed him a little bit too much there as Mike now gets past for P5 then. So Lewis will have to pit then again, and just so he's 90 seconds behind. He's going to lose about 20 to 25 seconds in the pit. He's going to be, what, 35 seconds behind. He's going to come out behind Ryan. No, actually, sorry, behind
he's going to come out closer to
Hardy, actually, yeah. And potentially McCrew has hit the wall, and that's his whole front wing right off there. So he could be right in that battle with a certain McCrew and Justas. Wow,
this is really going to spice things up, because what we could have next week is a 5-way championship battle.
Wow, that's something that no one would want to miss. I can tell you that one. Is now Julian up into P3, and that could be P2 very soon actually. And now he closes up, and this kind of shows what could have been for Justas. Then he was a few seconds ahead of Julian. Oh my! So everything's just really reopened here. Then as Lewis now heads into the pits. Out, but is it behind or ahead of Matty? It's going to be close to Matty. Oh, actually, it's going to be side by side through turn 3, surely. Oh, here we go. So Matty has a chance to get past Lewis and really mess up any hope for him getting points here today then. What was the gap at the top? So the gap was what, 30 what?
The gap between Just As and Lewis was 21 points, so 21. If neither of them score points, they carry that over into the next round.
Will Toxic jump Just As though?
Yes, he will.
So Toxic will be
He will be 9 points, or 8 points, no, he will be 9 points because it's fastest lap, behind Lewis in the championship going into the final round.
Oh my, this could be an interesting final round to say the least then. Toxic doing what he needs to do at the moment, and with Lewis not scoring has really changed things up, but potentially could seal the false up of the way. And look at that purple through the middle sector. Lewis is pushing on those tyres then, trying to gain some lost ground then. Obviously we've got Hardy kind of holding up the McCrew and Justas here then. So this is perfect for Lewis if he's going to try and get any kind of points here today. As meanwhile, Julian has got past Daniel. Julian up into P2 then. I don't think he's got enough time to close up the Toxic. It's 12 seconds and the tire's going to go off. So I feel like this could be, touch wood for Toxic, a win. So
well, I'm going to throw this out there. If things stay as they are, Just As will drop to 4th in the Drivers' Championship behind Janetsky and Toxic. And Mike will be 1 point behind him, so we will have a 5-way championship battle.
Wow. So next week is something to really tune into, as now
2010. 2010, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, exactly. Just very close in that final round then. And yeah, it could go any way. It could go any way. It's now Hardy and Justas exchanging positions then. Down towards the old sling then. Wow, that's not a corner you see much overtaking. Justas pulling out all the tricks in his hat there to get past. Wow. What a move
He's been throwing a lifeline, haven't he?
Oh, down the inside, McCrew goes and he's hit. Oh, he's been spun. Oh, hard spinners. McCrew's still on the track. He's still got a front wing intact. He doesn't. He's got half a front wing intact. He's lost his right end plate, and that will give Lewis a position as Julian picks up a penalty. Oh, that's vital in his championship hopes for Julian. I don't know. Where's Julian? Sorry, I didn't really get.
Julian joined.
He's showing a bit late.
I don't think he's in it.
Oh, okay. But Julian, anyway, just out of anything, he's any chance of a
first race.
Ah, first race. Well, good debut at least. But
yeah, what a debut for him.
It could have been a lot more sweeter if he didn't get that penalty. But now Lewis on McCrew really squeezing Lewis here out to the barrier there, as now gets past with fresher tyres and obviously a front wing still intact. Then Patrick and Hype's also exchanging positions then down at turn 7. Will Ryan be able to close off on those mediums? It seems like it at the moment. It seems likely. As he's now.
I'm looking at this right now, and I think 9th and 10th are the best of Justas and Lewis can get out this. That is a massive gap from Justas to Ryan.
Yeah, he's pushing a lot though. The question is it enough? Let's have a look at Justas. Oh, he's hit the wall! Oh! Justas hit the wall! He's out! No, he's not out, but he's lost all his front wing. Oh, as we just say, he's pushing. He's lost the car. Oh, it's been a race to forget, and that's now Lewis in the points. Hypez and Ryan trying to exchange positions. Ryan gets past Hypes now, and now Justas has just gone from bad to worse. How hasn't there been a full-on safety car in this race? I will not know.
I have no idea. We've had 5 VSCs.
It just struggles, mate. It honestly, it's just ridiculous how there hasn't been a safety car in this race. It's just helped out Toxic so much here. It's like he's paid Michael Massey for only VSCs to come out then, as Lewis has the first half of the race, closing on Hardy, and I think now it's a chase for Lewis, potentially even PA if he can get up to Hypes. It's 10 seconds with 5 laps to go. Can he get 2 seconds a lap? What's Hype's last lap? Let's have a look. Hypes did a 44.3 to Lewis's first. That's 6 seconds. 6 seconds that lap he's gained.
It could be possible then for Lewis to pick up P8.
Lewis could be really at the end of this race. I feel like it'd be a lap 31 pass if he's going to do it. But potentially could be on the back of Hypes. It's already what? 39.47, 8 seconds. It could be close. It really could be at the end. But now Ryan and Patrick exchanging positions. Everyone going out of the race is just helping these guys. Ryan trying to go up the inside of Patrick now, and he's just not been given enough room to make that opportunity happen then.
We've got Mike Janetsky and Daniel having a nice little scrap for the final spot on the podium, and this is important for the championship as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Because Daniel is in 6th place. He is 5 points off the back of Toxic, so he is throwing a bit of a spanner in the works.
I am going to go check penalties because I think it'll be interesting. Toxic's got 1 penalty. Julian's got that 1 penalty as well. So both of them equal on penalties. I don't think... Oh, it's yellow to sector 3. Sorry, that's gone. Lewis ended up another fast lap. What's the gap now to Hypes? It's 5 seconds. Oh my, he's closing quick. That's 3 seconds in 2 sectors. Mike,
Hypes is... He's quietly... he's sweating right now.
Yeah, I would say that. Definitely. Look at, you can see him in the background. And
Yes,
Janetsky
he's just picked one up.
Oh, that could be pivotal for his position at the end. Just as picks up a penalty as well. Not really too important.
Ryan and Patrick collide, and Patrick's in the wall.
Oh, 4 laps to go. And Patrick now. And this is just going to help out Lewis. This is just going to help out Lewis.
Lewis is going to be able to get a 7th here.
Wow, this is going to really not help Toxic in the slightest if he's going to win this. Janetsky got a pen, that's unusual, yeah. Wow, this is... Oh, Lewis almost loses it as well then. Lewis is really pushing that car to the limit, and surely, as we've got Jan 6-1, that's a racing boy. Is that Daniel? No, it's not. Okay, that's not. That's McCrew. He's round. No safety car though. Imagine a safety car now. How pivotal would that be for the race? My goodness. There's now Lewis maybe around the outside. Oh, he's contact. Lewis is spun. Oh,
what is going on in these final few rounds?
Has he got damage? I don't know if Lewis has got damage. I need to check Lewis's damage. Lewis has got damage. He's not going to be advancing, I don't think, any more positions. Oh, it's oh my. It's all just going well for Toxic right now. Janetsky's on the back of Daniel, down into 7. Oh, a little bit of ear right there. As now Daniel up the inside of Janetsky for that final points pick. Oh,
he just got through.
Oh my, Mike's got through as well. Obviously on those mediums, isn't he?
Yeah,
wow.
Mike on the mediums, and to my knowledge, I don't think I've seen a penalty come up for Mike. I know we just seen one for Janetsky, and
let's have a look.
I know there's that 5-second one for Daniel.
Mike doesn't have a penalty.
So Mike is on for a podium right here.
Yeah. So what did I say? Mike being the dark horse in this race has come into its own then. Look at this. As Jostas picks the fast lap, and he's going to steal that completely away from anyone, as now in P12, 28 seconds ahead. And yeah, that's definitely him. As now that is someone else into the pits then. That would be McCrew? Yeah, McCrew heads into the pits.
Spun it in me.
Oh yeah, he did. So McCrew's going to be potentially a lap down. Yeah, he is a lap down.
He is.
So you'll get a chance for fast lap, only just one though. As he's got a 5-second penalty as well. It's just gone from bad to worse for McCrew then. But now, biggest battle on track between Janetsky, Mike, and Daniel for that final points paying position, final podium position, excuse me. For that little just bragging rights for that podium. On track as well as in the standings as well. Then Lewis on the back of Hypes, even with that front wing damage. Lewis got a little less front wing damage than Hypes, so that's why he's been able to close up then. Obviously on those mediums as well, he's going to go up the inside, and surely this may give a potentially if Patrick can close up enough. Oh my, as Patrick can close up as well then, as Hypes does lose a position. As yeah, that's McCrew being lapped, and now Daniel, Mike, and Janetsky. It's the day in the Dutch and the finish. Here we go then, as Jav says. Seems like Janetsky maybe losing a bit of pace on those hards now. Mike is in the perfect position to close up to Daniel, but has he got the life left in his tyres, Mike, with 2 laps to go then?
Right, I've just had a little peek, and this is all on the teetering edge right now.
Oh really?
Yes, Mike, we haven't seen a penalty come up for him, but I can confirm he's 1 warning away.
Oh, here we go. So this is going to be very close then. So Mike's just got to keep it on the track then. And look at this, he's going to be closing up to Daniel for that P3. Going to be coming down into that braking zone of T1. And look how close he is. He's only, what, 3 tenths in it for that podium. He's just got to keep it on that track as well.
Doesn't get the best of exit though.
Now we fly through. Breaking now down into turn number 7 then. As now Mike just so close to the back of him, surely with so little time to go. And we know this track is so hard on passing. surely it's just going to stay the same unless Mike pulls something out of the back of his sleeve or whatever. It seems like this is a podium really for Daniel to lose here, unless well, obviously, well, excluding penalties out of everything. Seems like at the moment is Mike losing the back end a little bit there. It's all up for debate. We just don't know who's gonna take this final podium position right now. Mike's tyres look like they're gone. Seems like Daniel may hold this as just as retire. Why would you retire with a lap to go? Why? In the pit?
Because he's outside the points and he's...
Oh dear.
I think he's just given up on this race. He's had enough.
I think Sparhole is forgetting to see who's winning this race. It seems like he's forgot. He's saying, "Oh, Lewis is winning the championship right now." Yeah, you forgot the Red Bull in P1 who's winning this race, mate. He does exist. He's going to really close in. Daniel as well, also in a little bit of hope of a championship chance potentially. Maybe if he can close up enough. Lewis in P7. He's still getting 6 points out of this. Unless penalties. Janetsky picks up a second penalty. That's something Jav would not be happy to see then, as Jav.
And I think that's just gifted Daniel P4.
Yeah, it seems it. So now, as we now come on to the final lap of the race, it's been a long one. It's not been too bad. Lots of VSCs, but no safety cars. I don't know how. It's just been helping out a certain Toxic, as Patrick now gets overtaken by Matty on the final lap of the race then. Hasn't got a single penalty all championship for Janetsky, and he's now got 2. Has someone taken over Janetsky's car? We don't know, but someone has definitely taken over Toxic's car today. This is surely not him driving. This is some kind of Chembolic Bassi or someone driving his car, because this is an absolutely amazing performance. He gained about 4 or 5 seconds in the first stint alone as everyone was behind Justas, and now the Red Bull coming around the final 2 corners. What a race and what a win for Toxic. Takes the top step and puts himself in a very good chance of winning the championship then. Julian up to line, takes that P2 then, and who will take P3 out of it? It surely should be. He loses it over the line. Mike takes P3 over the line and loses it under traction. XL Ryan with that that 2-stop strategy seems to have worked pretty well for him, as soft medium has got him up into P6, and it seems like what's that, 8 points. He's not going to be too salty about that one, as over the line he comes, and then it's Lewis in behind, and that is P7 for him. So the championship is not round up yet for Lewis. He's still got quite a few let's just say he's just got to keep it on track, keep it inside the top 5, and I believe he's won the championship. But around here we know the caliber of drivers around here, anything can happen. But here we go. Your winner today is Toxic, and what a win it was, Mike.
It was fantastic. Straight from the start of the race, he got that gap and he was never seen again. The man turned into Houdini around this track.
Yeah, and looks like D2 will be starting at the same time as usual for your pleasure. But yeah.
Thank God.
Look at that. So Toxic takes the win. A British driver taking the win, obviously with the Brendan Lee. I think Brendan Lee may have actually taken over his car today. I wouldn't be surprised. As Red Bull, then it's an Alpha, then it's a Mercedes, holding up that top 3 on the podium. A good result from all 3 of them. And look at that. And there is your standings today. Then Mike cannot pick up a penalty, as well as Hypes. Good drive for the both of them there. But here are your standings. Toxic takes the win here today with Julian in P2 and Mike in P3. P4 goes to Daniel, making it a Dutch 2-4. P5 is Janetsky, and P6 is Ryan. P7 goes to Lewis. P8 is Hypes, and P9 is Patrick. P10 goes to XL Hardy, and that is your top 10. Outside the top 10, we've got Matty, McCrew, and Justas retiring with 2 laps to go. And then we've got all the DNFs, all of them.
Bjorn, Ghost, Gary, Aquaplaning, Chris, Bullet Boy, and Dylan, who I believe retired at the end of lap 1.
Yeah.
Just came into the pits and gave up.
Yeah, I feel like, as we said in qualifying, a track that suits one and doesn't suit others. We do have time for interviews, and I think that's your job to invite the top three then.
It's a good job I took a screenshot of the final standings so I can do some math to see what the championship standings are looking like.
Yeah, championship is blown right open due to a certain person having a quali ban, and that's really helped as now Toxic's right in it. He's in it to win it, and now it's time for Mike to invite the top three to the podium then. Getting some podium interviews from the lads, obviously. LR, what's his name? I've completely forgot his name now. LR Julian.
Toxic.
Toxic.
You know how bad it is when I actually have to scroll through a couple of hundred people to get your name to appearing offline.
Oh no. so Toxic, Toxic, Julian, and also Mike then.
I do not have Julian on my friends list, so if he could shoot me a...
I'll just let's have a look then. Through the lobby, Mike's still in and Julian has left. So you can invite Mike. Just search up Julian's name, you just have to search him up. I've suggested Mike for you. I've just sent him a message and said, oops, chatting party. I've suggested thingy as Toxic's now joined. We'll just wait and see if we can get the other two in, and then we'll give you a little podium interview. As yeah, hopefully just search up my Julian's name. It can't be too hard. So I think we should just get started. Toxic, you hadn't even had a shower this morning. It seems like you must have had some Weetabix to really pull you along today then, or something around that. Chav asked, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And my god, it must have been something to pull out of that performance. Well done. And yeah, well done on the P1. How was that race for you?
I mean, I've ate nothing so far, but I'm starving. But it was a good race. I was just keeping it on track, really. Qualifying was fun as well. I like that it was wet. Gave a challenge, and yeah, nothing much really happened that race except me raging that people get some bottling.
Yes, it's no real race for you. Just 31 laps of practice. It seemed like as a pole to win, and your only real battles with the likes of Bjorn with that horrendous horrendous overtake that was caught on stream. What was your idea behind that?
I just outbroke myself, really. I need to apologise for that. He went super defensive the corner before, and then I went into braking, so I just completely outbroke myself. I wasn't used to having to overtake, and caught me off guard, so
yeah,
I had to let him back through, obviously.
Yeah, really good race from you there. Mike, anything to add?
Just, Toxic, what was your thoughts of all the mistakes from Just As and Lewis in that race?
I was absolutely livid. The fact that people kept on bottling and just letting Lewis through, and the fact that Lewis was able to pit with damage and still come out in P7 is... I mean, I'm happy that I won, but still, Just As could have easily came P2 with strategy.
Well, yeah, it's just going to be an interesting fight around. Obviously, you are in the title fight, so just have a strong race, and I feel like you're going to have to
15 points the gap.
Oh.
15 points the gap between you now.
Just is it between me and Lewis?
Yep.
Really? Okay. I did not know that. Well, okay.
And because Just As didn't finish in the points, he's now out of it.
Oh. Oh, okay.
On to Brazil.
Janetsky got 5th and is also out of it.
Oh, okay.
Mike with that podium, just about in it. So two of the guys on the podium are just in that championship battle.
Yeah.
So Mike's P3 now.
Yep, Mike's jumped both Janetsky and he's already Janetsky and Just As.
So yeah, well, when I'm your P1, 25 points to add to your name, and now on to P2 then. Julian, I believe this is your debut race, is it? No. Oh. Ah, okay. So you're
Oh, it wasn't on the stand-in, so that's why I thought it was you first.
Wait. Oh, okay. So just take it as a debut on a debut podium, okay? So well done on that result today. Obviously, a different strategy to everyone else, and it worked out in the final few laps. How was that race for you? Yeah. Oh, Julian, they can't hear you. I think you don't have your voice and always allowed.
I can hear him, so...
No, but the stream can't. Stream you can't. Okay, right, just sum up your race a little bit again then.
Yeah, I was late and I started P7. I did 1 lap on inters. Yeah, I don't know, but then I started hard style. On lap 1 I was a bit struggling because the mediums were quite quick. I defended as hard as I can to a guy behind, I don't know who he is, but... and then Justas was ahead of me, but I was catching him like hell, and then he grabbed damage and was going into the pit lane. And then I went to mediums, and then I was behind Lewis, but Lewis was quite defending. But if you are on mediums, you have to make your time good. So every move you can, you have to go for it. So I did. And then I overtook the guys and went to P2, and then I was supporting Mike to get P3 on track, but shame, but off track he did. So yeah. Good race.
Yeah, well done. In the end, obviously some very good passes to get yourself up into that P2. Obviously, that advantage of tyres really helped you out. Obviously, starting on the hards. Mike, anything to add?
No, I'm actually pretty good.
Yeah, well done, Julian.
I mean, I was going to congratulate his cutting his way through the field. He made quick progress up into second, so
yeah, it was good.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, well, with minimal practice, that's a very good result there on your quote-unquote debut. Well done for that. Well done for that P2. And now on to P3, still in the championship battle, as Mike's just calculated. NLR Mike then, obviously. Good result from you. I said early on in the race you could have been a dark horse, and it seemed to have worked out. P3, obviously penalties helped you out there, so well done on that one. How was that race for you?
Yes, thanks. Yeah, at the beginning I was struggling, lost I think 2 or 3 positions at the start. I got dive bombed in the first corner, so I had to back out of it, and after that 2 cars overtook me at the outside, so was P11 or P12, and Patrick was in front of me. And yeah, he wasn't that quick compared to the guys in front, Julian and all that guys. So I lost about 7 seconds in the first stint. So I pitted the same lap as Julian because we were talking in a party. It's no secret. So we helped each other in the race and with the setup, with the tire choices and everything. And came back on the track 5th, around 6 or 7 seconds behind. The Ferrari and the Racing Point from Daniel, and yeah, with a few laps I was at the back of them, but overtaking when you are the third car in a DRS train is impossible to overtake. But luckily they went side to side into turn 7 or turn 8, the right-hander, and wide, so I could slip past him, and Daniel was too fast for me at the end because the mediums were a little bit dead at the end, so I was happy he had the penalty. I didn't know, so I spun on the last corner because I was trying so hard, a little bit too hard, but I was lucky he had some penalties. So P3, I'm happy with it, and hope I can go for a surprise in Brazil, but I think the gap is too big to Lewis to do something, unless he DNF or have some issues, but don't think so.
Who knows? You've got to be in it to win it, and you're in that championship fight to get it. But fair play to you, very good result. Obviously closing in through the pack, making some very good overtakes. I just think it was an exceptional race from you there. Obviously It seems like the hard to medium seems like the better strategy from anyone except for Toxic today, as you actually kept it on track and did a one-stop, unlike most other people.
Yeah, true. I think the hard medium was, if you can keep up with the mediums at the first stint, then you are the quickest man on track in the second stint. So overtaking not too easy, but me and Julian don't have too much problems with that. So that was nice.
Yeah, Mike, any questions?
It was just about Oscar, how nervous you were at the end of that race, knowing that one warning would have given you a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, I got the second warning a little early in the race, so got one warning in the first lap and second warning at the half of the race. I don't know. Yeah, and I was trying so hard to get P3 on track, so I wasn't really honest. I wasn't thinking of getting that penalty. Of course, Julian told me don't get the penalty, don't cut the track, this and that. But at the end, I did get the penalty, so I'm happy with that, and that gives me P3 at the end, so that's really good.
Yeah, well done.
Also moving into the final race, you are technically still in championship battle, as you said, you're a bit far off. You're needing a bit of a miracle to happen. But the battle between you, Janetsky, and Just As, and even Daniel as well for that matter, is going to be very intriguing for that third spot.
Yeah, for me it's a good thing when they took each other out. I do a Sunday drive to home, so when everyone retires and I win or get second, then it's good. But I don't think it's gonna happen, so can dream about it, but I don't think it's realistic.
I will say this: at one point we thought we was going to have a 5-3 championship decider in Brazil.
Yeah, that's really nice. Can't wait. So,
but everyone kept crashing out. Everyone kept crashing out and then Lewis will spoiled it.
Yeah, I hope everyone when everyone is bottling it, so I will be there. Don't crash and win. So I hope that will be the case. But like I said, it's more like a dream than a realistic situation. So we will see.
Yeah, who knows what Brazil holds. I'm just going to ask you, Mike, who do you think your driver of the day was?
Yeah, that's difficult. Toxic with Dom.
I'm asking commentator Mike. I'm asking Tom and commentator Mike. Sorry. Commentator Mike. Driver of the day.
Hang on, let me just bring up final. Right, so Lewis went from 17th to 7th. That's a good result for him. But you and Julian, when made that alternate strategy work, and Toxic was dominant from start to finish. That's a difficult one. I'm gonna give it to Toxic because he dominated it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Toxic for the drive of the day. Obviously, you two pulled off a great strategy, but Toxic just flew away from lap one. You got to respect that with no mistakes. It's just very, very good drive from him. I think we should call that a day then. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you, Mike, for co-commentating with me, and thank you everyone in the podium interviews for giving their opinion on the race. This is Intelligence Racing League.